They said he had everything: money, power, success. But inside that sterile, white-walled hospital room, he was the loneliest man alive. His name was Victor Hawley, a self-made millionaire known for two things: his fortune and his temper. He had built an empire from scratch, but in the process, he had torn down every bridge and burned every connection. He was a man who humiliated people for sport, a titan of industry who saw kindness as a weakness. The beeping of the heart monitor was the only constant rhythm in his life now. The nurses who were paid to care for him learned to avoid his gaze. They would enter his room with their shoulders tensed, their steps quick, trying to do their jobs without becoming a target for his rage. But it was never enough. No nurse could stand him for long. He insulted them, yelled at them, treated them as if they were nothing more than insects buzzing around his head. One by one, they would walk out, some holding back tears, others simply shaking their heads in defeat until no one was left. The money couldn't save him this time. The doctor, a man who has seen it all, walked in with a grim expression. "You need long-term care," he said, his voice firm but gentle. "Your condition is serious, Victor." Within days, the hospital supervisor was at her wit's end. Every nurse on staff had refused his case. The man who could buy anything he wanted couldn't buy a single moment of compassionate care. His room became an island of isolation, a testament to a life lived without warmth. And then she walked in. The door opened slowly, not with the usual hurried trepidation, but with a quiet confidence. She was a simple woman, dressed in plain clothes, her face unadorned by makeup, her eyes calm and steady. "Good morning," she said, her voice soft but clear. "My name is Anna. I'll be taking care of you." Victor scoffed, his voice cold and sharp as ice. "You won't last a day." But instead of flinching, Anna just smiled, a small, gentle curve of her lips that didn't quite reach her eyes but held no fear. He tried everything to break her. He threw his food tray across the room, splattering soup against the pristine walls. He yelled until his voice was hoarse, his insults echoing in the quiet hallway. He belittled her, mocked her simple background, trying to find a crack in her composure. "You're nothing," he snarled one afternoon. "Just a poor woman working for money, pretending you care." But she never shouted back. She never cried, at least not in front of him. She would simply clean up the mess, her movements patient and deliberate. "I'm here to help you, Mr. Hawley," she'd say softly. "Not to fight with you." Her unbreakable kindness was a wall he couldn't tear down, a fortress his anger couldn't breach. One night, as a storm raged outside, mirroring the turmoil in his own soul, Victor's voice was barely a whisper. "Why don't you leave? Like the others?" he asked, the usual venom gone, replaced by a raw, weary curiosity. Anna paused in her work, her back to him. The only sound was the rain drumming against the window pane. "Because when my husband was sick," she began, her voice thick with a memory that was still painfully alive, "everyone left us too." Victor turned his head slowly on the pillow, his gaze fixed on her. "He died alone," she continued, finally turning to face him. "And I promised myself, no one would feel that pain around me ever again." For the first time in his life, Victor Hawley couldn't speak. The walls he had spent a lifetime building around his heart didn't just crack, they crumbled into dust. A single tear escaped, then another, rolling down the weathered lines of his face. His body shook with silent, gut-wrenching sobs. "I spent my whole life building walls," he said, his voice broken and choked with regret. "And now I'm dying behind them." In that moment of complete surrender, Anna walked over and gently, without a word, took his hand in hers. It was the first gentle human touch he had felt in years. From that day forward, he changed. The anger that had been his armor for so long melted away, revealing the frightened man underneath. He started to thank the staff, his voice still weak, but sincere. He would smile when a nurse entered the room. He started to listen, truly listen, to the stories of their lives, their families, their dreams. "I don't want to die as the man everyone hated," he confided in Anna one afternoon. His eyes clear and full of a newfound purpose. He wanted to leave behind something other than a legacy of fear and resentment. Weeks later, when the end came, it was not with a roar, but a quiet peace. He had made one final decision. A lawyer visited the hospital and handed Anna a letter. As she stood there, holding the crisp envelope, the lawyer explained that Victor had donated his entire fortune, millions of dollars, to build a free hospital, a place of healing and compassion for those who had nothing. And it was to be built in her husband's name. Victor passed away peacefully in his sleep that night. Alone in the quiet of the hallway, Anna finally opened the letter. In his frail, spidery handwriting, she read the words he had left for her. "You healed me," the voiceover of his letter began, "not with medicine, but with kindness. You taught me that the true measure of a man is not what he acquires, but what he gives. Sometimes, the poorest people, those with nothing to give but their heart, leave the richest impact on the world." Thank you for watching. If this story touched you, please consider sharing it and subscribing for more content that inspires.